Winter is fast approaching in my country, guys. The days are getting shorter and colder and a lot more bleaker. I'm getting fatter. The need to hibernate is beginning to be a thing, and you know what that means, guys. It means it's time to make another piece of clothing that is completely temperature inappropriate. As per usual, here's the reference images for what I'm aiming to create in this video. It's a nice lightweight jacket thing. I don't know what it's made of, but I tried to match the material accordingly with corduroy and a wool blend, so hopefully it ends up looking sort of similar, but who knows. This is an entirely self-drafted pattern because I'm super into that at the moment, but I did use this random puffer jacket as a rough template just to get things in the right spot to start with. And so I basically just traced around all the parts that I needed and then I cut them out. It's not very exciting to watch, I apologize, but it is a method that works quite well. And then from the pattern pieces I had just made, I went ahead and I made my mock-up out of this felt fabric, which is super ugly, but it's really thick, so it gives a good representation of the coat fabric, I think, at least. I don't know, I'm kind of just making this up as I go along if you haven't already figured out. I don't know how to make coats, I'm just guessing. Wait a minute. The other irony of this is that I made this mock-up almost a month ago before making the real thing, and I pretty much completely forgot how I was supposed to assemble it. So I probably should have made notes, but I didn't because I'm stupid, okay? I admit it. But learn from my mistakes and make more notes on everything to save yourself the hassle of unpicking. So after the mock-up was assembled, I tried it on to see how it all sort of fitted, and I was happy with it because, well, it didn't outright fall apart or burst into flames, and for me that's a win. So I went ahead and marked where the pattern pieces needed to be chopped up for the corduroy and the woolen contrasting fabrics, and to do this I just drew directly on myself because why not? Then with those marks in mind, I shirred up all of my pattern pieces and transferred the marks across, and then I cut them out onto the right pieces, marked what was what, and then I added a seam allowance to all of the sides as well. I should have spent more time on this part, but I didn't because I'm a busy woman and I'm sorry you had to hear that. So anyway, with my pattern pieces, I went ahead and cut out the corresponding fabrics, the corduroy and the wool blend, of which I've never used either before, so it was a real learning experience. Apparently, white corduroy frays lint all over you if you wear black, just FYI, and wool just sheds wool dust over every surface in your home. But anyway, I digress. With all the pieces cut out, I started by overlocking the two main arm pieces and then sewing them together. By the way, sewing opposing curves sucks, and I don't know why I included this in my own pattern because I already knew I hated it, but apparently I just love suffering. I pretty much copied this exact formula for the back panels, nothing exciting to see here. And then I tried to copy it for the front as well, but suddenly, drama. So the pocket flap was supposed to be sewn in between these two bits and I completely forgot, so I'm going to have to cut out both of these parts again and restart this entire sewing session. Awesome! So I did. I restarted it and recut and resewed the front pieces, this time being sure to add in the fake pocket flaps, and then I added interfacing into the band that goes along the bottom and the front and the sides just to make it look less flimsy and for it to be more robust for the buttonholes. And it all started coming together and looking like an actual item of clothing, I might add, and I was actually getting really excited. And then came the deciding moment. Did any of my seams actually match up? If this doesn't match, as I probably will actually cry. Yes, pretty much, maybe. I don't know, why is this shorter? It's okay, it's wool, I can always just kind of stretch it and force it to work. And you best believe that's exactly what I did, sort of. So the back lines up really well, and then we get to the front. For some reason the front doesn't line up at all. And it's like that on both sides. So I'm not sure what went wrong, but I am inclined to leave it because it's uneven, but it's uneven evenly, if that makes sense. And I don't want to touch it again. So I'm just going to say this was unsuccessfully successful. So this is what we've got so far. We have got two front pieces, a back piece, two arms. I just need to sew all of these parts together and then put in the neck thing, and then I'm kind of done. And then I just have to put in the buttons. What are they called? The stabby ones? Shanks. I just have to put in the shanks. And then I think this whole thing is more or less done. Oh, and also the sleeve cuffs. And then we're done. And then I can just rest. Okay. We'll see how much rest I get done. Oh my god. So I lined up all the pieces and I sewed and overlocked them, starting with the shoulder seams, and when they were all sewn up I used the easiest method I knew of sewing a top, and that was to sew the body and the sleeves all in one go in one big line, which is a super simple method of clothing creation that feels a little bit like cheating if you ask me, but hey, I'm totally living for it. And it worked pretty well, so yeah. And then I just had to attach the collar, and I did that with perhaps the worst sewing I think I've ever done in my entire life. But like hell, if I ever have a day where I have nothing to do, I might just unpick this uneven monstrosity and do this part again, but for now it's done and I just have to live with it, and so do you. And the cuffs method I use is also a pretty super easy sweater method, which granted is not the same as the one on the inspiration pictures, but I hate cuffs, so whatever, it worked out well. I did not put a shanky doodle on the cuffs though, however, because I did run out, and the cheapest I could find shanks in New Zealand were a pack of 4 for over $20, which seems so expensive for shitty metal buttons, but whatevs. Okay, so now I think I just need to sew on the shanks and then I will be done, hopefully. I'm going to try and be smart about this. I'm going to do the buttonholes first so that I can make sure that the shanks actually get sewn in the right place. And then hopefully I should be done with this project. But is anything ever that easy? I don't know. We'll see. Did I sew these on the wrong side? Possibly, but you know what? I don't even care anymore, so I'm just gonna go with it. So after that, I cut out the inners of the buttonholes and made sure that the shanks fit through them, and then I used this stuff called Fraylock, which is my country's equivalent to Fray Check, I guess, but it's weird because you have to sort of massage it into the fabric with your fingers or it will just sit on top and solidify, but it also hardens to like rock hard when it's dried, so it actually makes the buttonholes smaller. So just bear that in mind if you ever have the misfortune of misbehaving fabric to have to use this. And then after that, I went on and sewed the actual shanks, which I forgot to record, and then I was actually done. So here is the final piece in all of its glory. I'm proud of how it came out considering I did not have very high hopes at all for this top. I've never used corduroy or wool in any projects before, so it was definitely interesting to sew with both of them together at once. Come to think of it, I've also never used shank buttons either, but they were pretty straightforward and it all went well. If I was to change anything about this top, it would be the bottom band. I think it should have been sewed all in one piece rather than individually, but you live and you learn, and next time I'll know. Maybe I would have also made the cuffs a little bit longer as well because that might have looked a bit cooler, I'm not sure. Oh, and the collar could have been sewn nicer, but hell guys, I tried. So here I am modeling it by the light of my tinted bedroom window. Sorry about the crappy contrasting. Also, no, I don't know what any of these poses are, so sorry about that as well. Please let me know what you thought of this top, or if you have any suggestions for clothes I could copy in the future, let me know. Okay, bye!